Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod, and I am your host, Lester Class. Each and every episode is going to be filled with amazing stories from amazing people. You will hear the different journeys people went through, or are still going through, to be able to do what they love. From the failures to the successes and everything in between. This is a place to get to know the person behind their passion, because people only get to see the successes and not what it took to get there. If this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe and leave a review if you love the content. Now finally, I would love to welcome you to the Community Pod. What's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod. Welcome back to another episode. I know that we're in the 50 mark of episodes, so listen, bear with me because I really don't know what episode we're on. We're rolling these out. But I just want to say thank you for coming and watching another episode. I got an amazing guest in the building. I got Liiuhm. What's going on?
What's going on, yo? Thank you for having me, fam. Thank you.
Of course, bro. And I know this is your first podcast, so we're going to make it a good one.
For sure.
All right, cool. So would you be able to tell the people what it is that you do?
Yeah, so I just started making music about 2 years back. I locked in with PRIIME, and at first, I kind of took it as a joke. I wasn't really serious about it, and then obviously, I met PRIIME, and he kind of locked me in and started taking my craft a little bit more serious, so definitely an upcoming artist to watch out for.
So what genre or what kind of artist do you think that you can say you are?
I'm definitely figuring that out still. I've touched a little bit on some Afro beats, some R&B, definitely some R&B vocals on Playboi Carti type beats, so something a little new. So I like to say I'm a versatile one, but I think I'm gonna start pushing more into the R&B lane.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're playing around with these different beats, these different type of I guess genres of music already says that you are versatile, trying to touch on everything.
Yeah.
But where is it that you found the passion for making music?
Yeah. So as a kid, always was into music. I played piano, I played clarinet, I played a bunch of instruments, and I kind of was self-taught. I never took vocal lessons or anything like that. And you remember when Fetty Wap was hot and all that? He did his little "Yeah, baby" and all that. So I remember I was a summer camp counselor, and I was just doing that everywhere I was going. And then one day someone was just "Yo, bro, you can actually sing." And I was laughing about it because I didn't take it serious. But I feel like I always had a passion for music. I was a basketball player as well, so it went from music to basketball, and I'm back full circle music. So I think I always had the passion for it. It was just to what extent, how serious am I going to take it?
Yeah. And then it comes down to, because we spoke off camera, and you said you were always fascinated with the brain.
Yeah.
So where is it that you feel that fascination, or the I guess how intriguing the idea of what a brain can do?
Yeah, so similar stories when I was younger. I used to ask my parents some crazy outlandish questions. I asked my mother, I think when I was 8 or 9, how do I know you're real, right? And I guess that was the jump into the rabbit hole. I started really doing research on psychedelics, LSD, MDMA, that sort of thing, and how it affects the brain. And I go to the University of Pittsburgh now. I'm about to go into my senior year, and I major in neuroscience with a minor in chemistry. So I'm really solidifying my passion as well for neuroscience. Yeah. I just finished up a little internship with a pharmaceutical company where I was able to do some more research about it, and it's limitless. I feel the power of the brain, and I feel we don't understand enough about it. So I definitely want to be more in the forefront to understanding more about the brain.
All right, cool. Yeah. And I should have cleared that up in the beginning. I really didn't say neuroscience. I just said you were fascinated with the brain.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer shit. So definitely glad we cleared that up.
Yeah.
But being a neuroscience major, right? How is it that you find the balance to because I can only imagine what kind of work you have to go through in college, the constant homework, the maybe staying up at night, but you have to do the same thing when you're chasing your dream doing music.
Exactly.
So what is that balance like?
Yeah, it's difficult. But I think one thing about me, especially growing up, I went to a boarding school as well in high school. I had to learn time management. That's I feel one of the most important things to learn, especially when you're in college or you have a bunch of things going on. So sometimes I don't get back home. I live off campus, but sometimes I don't get home till around 4 a.m, waking up at 7 to go to class at 10, something like that. So what I do is I really manage my time. I also prioritize, school is something that once I get my degree, I have options. So I have to prioritize school. But at the same extent, I prioritize music as well. So I'm trying to find, whenever I'm home, is normally when I focus more on my music, when I pull up a beat or just write something down, and I separate my work from school, and I do all that on campus, and then when I get home it's more okay, let me develop my passion even further, let me work on my craft, sort of thing.
Got you.
Yeah.
So I asked you off camera, right?
Yeah.
But which one do you enjoy more? The
It's-
neuroscience or, music?
It's difficult because, again, I've had a passion for both at an early age. I'd like to say equally both if I can, but I feel like it's different in the sense that school for me was never an option. Like, I've always been pushed in that direction, which is like you have to develop certain skills and stuff to be successful in society today. And my mother growing up in Jamaica definitely instilled that to me at a young age. She wasn't as fortunate as I am now, so I'm definitely building off of the foundation that she gave me, and my father as well. So I feel like being in school, I have to apply myself way more. So I would say equally both. Music is something I developed more on my own. My parents definitely, allowed me to figure out what it is I was passionate for as a young age. I played almost every sport. I, again, played a lot of musical instruments and stuff. But to each their own, like, they're equal just in different regards, I'd have to say.
All right.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the fact that, like, I feel like you're an individual where, like, you don't like when you're not able to be, I guess, get your hands on certain things, right?
Yeah.
Because you said you enjoy neuroscience, you enjoy making music,
Yeah.
you played instruments, you
Yeah.
played sports, you've done a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like that's always been the way you were?
Yeah. I think my parents and just, like, the way I was brought up is that I wasn't forced to do one thing. So I was able to really explore what it is I liked the most, what I was most talented or had the best ability to do. And I played baseball, I swam, I did basketball. I wanted to play football, but parents never let me play football just for, like, head injuries and stuff like that. But I believe that you don't know how much you like something until you dive into it. Like, you really have to figure out, is this for me or is it not for me? And I believe that basketball at a point was for me. And I think that since it wasn't for me now, that it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And I recognized that when I tried to force it, my life just wasn't panning out the way I wanted to. It became difficult because I tried to do something that clearly was not meant for me. And like I told you with PRIIME, the way we met, it just was too good. Like, it was fate. I would genuinely believe it was fated. And now I'm back at music again, full circle. And I think that music is for me.
So just to talk about PRIIME, right?
Yeah.
Well, from my point of view,
Yeah.
right? PRIIME has brought me Thump.
Yeah.
PRIIME has brought me Brandon, C, Destiny,
Yeah.
Slippers, No Socks.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm leaving anybody off the list. I am. I'm sorry. But and
Yeah.
Liiuhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is that he puts a lot of people on. Well,
Yeah.
what I want to get into is basically how is it that you ended up meeting PRIIME?
Yeah. So I was at the studio first. I got home from school, and two of my friends from my old high school hit me up. Was like, "Oh, we're going to the studio. Like, you want to come check it out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll go." So I didn't put any money in. I didn't put any time in. I was just going to just support my guys and just kind of get the vibe for what a studio felt like. And we ended up pulling up, and PRIIME was doing our session, and one of them finished the song. The other one started but didn't really like the way his song was coming out. So he stopped, and then PRIIME just, like, turned around and looked at me. I'm sitting in the back, like, on my phone, chilling, not expecting anything. PRIIME was like, "You want to go in there? Like, you still have an hour and a half. Like, you could go in there. You could fuck around, just vibe, just do something." So I'm like, all right, cool. And I sent him a beat. He loaded the beat up, and then I just started singing. And he gave me that look over the thing like, okay, right? And I was like, okay, he's messing with me. I did that whole song in one take, and he's just like, started calling me One Take Drake and all that. And since then, I think he saw something more in me than I didn't at first see in myself. And we've just been locked in since then, and he's definitely done a lot for me and put me in my name and my music in rooms that some people that have been in this music industry for a lot longer than I have wouldn't be able to get into. So PRIIME was definitely a blessing for me.
And what does it feel like having somebody like that in your corner?
Yeah, it's a feeling not many people I feel like are used to. PRIIME's definitely become, obviously he's my manager, but he's become like a brother figure to me. He met my parents. He was talking to my parents about me as an artist, where he sees me going, the type of lanes, like budget, like everything. He was very open and honest, and he was authentic. And you don't find a lot of authentic people in this life. So for me, I hold on to people that are authentic because, again, it's seldom that you find people like that. So having someone like PRIIME in my corner definitely is pushing me to be a better version of myself, and I tip my hat to him for that.
And when it comes to authenticity, right, why do you feel like it's important for people to be authentic?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what I was saying about if basketball was for me or music was for me. There's certain things that I feel like if you're not authentic, you'll never really understand what's for you in this life and what's not. A lot of people are used to this all fake everything era where people are okay with being lied to, like, oh, nah, bro, it's cool. Like, no, if I don't like something, I'm going to tell you, look, bro, I didn't like that. But I'm not going to embarrass you. I'm not going to, you feel me? I'm very blunt. And I feel like that's the Jamaican in me. I'm a blunt kid. But I do it out of love. And even now, for people that I'm not, like, cool with as I was, or if we fell off or whatever it is, it's not like I'm like, oh, fuck him. Like, I don't like him. Or, no, I genuinely wish you the best over there. Like, I want you to do well, just I don't want to be a part of that, right? So I feel like being authentically you're going to find the people that you're looking for. If you're acting like somebody you're not, which I did in high school, I can't lie, I definitely did. And I found who I am as a person, and I'm now surrounded by people that I would have needed at that point in my life. So I believe that, you know, being authentically yourself it's difficult to do, but once you reach that point, it's like, I'm happy, like, I can figure out who to surround myself with.
Yeah. And then, like, just to go back into, like, childhood, right?
Yeah.
Like, you mentioned that you've always been, you know, fascinated with the brain, and then you became a neuroscience major.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like you were somebody who, like, was okay with questioning things.
Yeah.
And trying to, like, really know the not the solution, but the idea behind something, right?
Yeah.
Why do you feel like it's important to question things in life?
Yeah. I believe even now, like, we see school systems or just, I guess, in politics and media, that what you're told, you're not necessarily supposed to believe that 100%, right? My grandmother has this saying, to believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, which is basically to say, like, if you haven't experienced it yourself, how are you going to be able to believe that it's 100% accurate, like what you're being told? So I believe, like, even as a kid, I would question a lot of, I would question my teacher, like, how do I know, like, what you're teaching me is really history, or that this really happened? Because we all know that the victors are the ones that write history. So, right, it was something for me that I caught on early, but again, being a kid and got to stay in a kid's place and all that sort of stuff, I was looked at as rebellious, as that kid that lacks respect, that sort of thing. But really, I was just curious. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know why. Instead of just being force-fed information, why is this true? Like, how did this happen? And a lot of those times, those people didn't have those answers. So I believe, like, especially being a neuroscience major, asking those questions in science is a huge thing. Because if you're just going to take something as face value, you're not going to really know the reason behind it. So I've always kind of been that person to, like, question and figure out, like, why, where, how, when, like, all those sort of questions are important.
Got you. So when it comes to, you know, making music, you mentioned off camera that you've been doing this for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
But you also, so when is it that you started getting into the instruments?
Yeah. As a kid, my parents, and even just at school, I don't even know what it's called. I think it was a recorder where they had everybody play a recorder and stuff. And I was like, oh, like, this is kind of cool. And then I started playing the clarinet and then the piano. And I think piano probably is my probably the reason why I have a certain ear for beats.
Okay.
I feel like when you play certain instruments, you learn a little bit about music theory. I'm not going to say, like, I know 100% music theory, but you learn chords, you learn different progressions and all that stuff. So once I started playing piano, I played for like 3-4 years, fell in love with the keys, and then basketball came around, and I was like, nah, I got to play basketball. I got to direct my attention to hoops. And I think it just came back full circle for me after I saw, you know, basketball was cool and all. I had opportunities. I turned some opportunities down strictly for, like, academic purposes. Like, Pitt is a top 10 institution for neuroscience itself. So regardless if I was going to hoop there or not, it was more of, I'm going there with a goal of being a neuroscientist, right? So I think that when I started as a young kid playing all this music and all these different keys, being exposed to reggae and all these other different genres, it kind of enveloped me, and I was just, like, amazed by what music and words can do to people. And I'm seeing it now, and it's coming back full circle in my life, so it's really cool.
What is it that makes you stand out as an artist?
Yeah, I think a lot of artists are trying to do what's best for themselves in terms of how can I push streams, how can I get, you know, a bigger fan base and all that. While that is definitely important, I'm also on the level, I feel like I'm really relatable. I'm a college kid. I have a sister, 2 parents, all in the same household. I played sports, all this I just relate with a lot of people on different levels, and I feel like now when you look at music and you look at all these really big artists, a lot of what they're saying, a lot of people can't relate to. And I believe that it's important to build a relatable fan base, because then you build together, you grow together, you're able to gauge more people. They tell a friend to tell a friend and all that. So I believe that I'm authentically me. I'm blunt, like I said before. I feel like I'm a likable kid, and I do everything out of love for anybody's best interest. I don't move with malice, and I feel like that's also really important. So I think bottom line is I'm just really relatable.
Why do you think you move like that, just out of love and not, wanting anything in return?
Yeah, I think my father, for sure. My father is, and I tell him all the time, I don't think the world deserves my father, in the sense that I'm very similar to my father. I didn't have many friends growing up. I've definitely had a lot of hurt when it comes to me putting my all into friendships and not getting anything in return, sort of thing, and really wishing people well. But I think the world needs more of that. Like, everybody's so, like, not everybody, but there's a majority of people that are really, like, selfish and greedy, and they don't understand that the power of networking and having people in your corner and stuff is greater than anything you could do by yourself, right? So my father is always, I've seen the way he treated my mother, like, was amazing, like, just the perfect, like, role model for me. And I took all of that in, and I think it definitely molded my character that way. And I'm grateful for it, for sure.
Got you.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your inspirations, where do you think they come from?
Music-wise?
Music-wise or life-wise?
Just life. Definitely my father's, like, first and foremost. Again, just because he's showing me every day still how to be a man. Like, and I feel like that's something I wish everybody could have a father. Like, I have a father. Or just somebody in their life they can look up to, like my father, right? So as a person, my father, for sure. Music-wise, I know he's in the hot seat right now. Tory Lanez, phenomenal artist. Brent Faiyaz, Party Next Door, like Bryson Tiller, a bunch of R&B for sure. And while they're all R&B, they all have their unique sound. And I want to find my unique sound. I want to figure out what it is that lane, obviously R&B, but my sound, like what's perfect for me, and what obviously my fan base eventually will like most, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And listen, like, I know that he's in the hot seat, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to, like, because if we're gonna, I guess, like, not look at what's going on right now, just look at his, like, versatility and everything that he has as an artist.
Yeah.
He's definitely a talented artist,
for sure.
And has definitely done a bunch of different types of music, and I definitely think as an artist and artistry, he is good at what he
he
does. But I want to get into your name, right?
Yeah.
Liiuhm,
Yeah.
right? And how it's spelled.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why is it that you spelled it that way? Or is it like that? Is that really how it's spelled, like, from birth?
No, so
okay.
My name is Liam, government name, right?
Okay.
Liam. I remember I had a conversation with my boy Josh, Swavey on IG, also an amazing artist. His IG name being Swavey, I thought it was so dope, because my old IG names were just trash, and I'm like, I want to get something similar where it's like just one word, not too much, but something that's unique to me. So I was just looking at, like, different ways to pronounce my name or anything like that, and I just found the Liiuhm, and I was just like, yeah, that's hard.
And I was thinking about it. I was like, I kind of, when I first found out about you trying to be on the pod and everything like that, I definitely was trying to look you up on Instagram, and I was like, yo, how the hell is this? Like, But I was like, it's such a cool, like, twist on it that you did. So it's super, super dope.
Yeah.
Like, the way that I see things, right, like, I feel like you've been able to accomplish, or you have done a lot in your life, right?
Yeah.
Where you are this very vibrant person.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to ask was, were you always this vibrant and always this energetic?
Yeah. I think, again, in high school, the first high school I went to, the Glenridge High, I acted like somebody I wasn't, because it was more difficult for me to fit in. Being biracial, I definitely found myself trying to be accepted by the black community. It was like, no, you're not black enough. Or white guys, oh, you'll do the Dougie, shit like that, right? So getting both of those sort of spectrums, it was difficult. And I think I was trying to be, I was trying to be like the class clown, trying to have people to be my friend and all this sort of stuff. And I found myself in a way worse place mentally, to where I wasn't going out, like I wasn't going to parties, any of that stuff. I was in the gym shooting around, or I was at home. We have a tradition with my family called Family Night, where every Friday night we'd light the fire, we'd play games, we'd have debates or whatever it is. So I wasn't always this type of person, but I believe when I transferred to my boarding school, Hunt School at Princeton, I was surrounded by a lot more diversity. I became less of a trying to be seen, heard, scene maker sort of thing. It was just like, nah, like that's not who I am. And I kind of fell back into the person I am now, which is just, you know, I'm always going to try and bring good energy to the table. I'm always going to be real and blunt. Like if you did something in a group setting I didn't like I said, I'm going to tell you, like in private, I'll be like, yo, bro, I'm not going to lie, I didn't like that. You could have done better. I'm going to be real with you. You might not like it, but at the end of the day, it's for your best interest, right? So I definitely wasn't always this vibrant, energetic person. There's definitely lows, and I feel like everybody hits lows, and it's okay to hit that low as long as you reflect and like own that sort of stuff, right? Because that builds character, that builds you. But now that I'm again in college now, I've definitely been able to learn who I am and what my value is, what if somebody were to get me as a friend, what I bring to the table as a friend. And I feel like what I bring to the table is more than just money or clout or any shit like that. It's just you have somebody real in your corner that's gonna be by you when you're on your last leg, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that your family would have like, you know, debates on a certain night, or like you guys just talking or enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
Like, how important do you think family is, whether that's blood or just people you consider family?
Yeah. When people ask me what my biggest flex would be, I would say my family every time, because in that aspect, I'm grateful. A lot of people don't grow up in, you know, full family households, whether they don't have, you know, a parent figure or they lost a sibling or that sort of thing. And I believe that the power of family is you come home, at least in my experiences, I came home and regardless of what it was, I could talk about it. I can kind of be in like my temple, like my house was my temple, it was my peace, do not disturb my peace, like, you know, it's that sort of thing. And I believe that I really wish everybody had the family that I had. That's my biggest flex, like, that I could ever say, is my family has always supported me in anything there was to do, like even with music, right? I felt like I hit music a little late, but regardless, they were like, no, we can see what you're going for, we see you work hard, like I work hard in everything I do. And my parents were there, my sister was there, right? So having that family, whether it's blood or not, right? I have a lot of really close friends that are very similar, but having those people behind you, it's sometimes it can be, or a majority of the times it's like that hand in your back or that hand like picking you up, like, nah, you got this, like, let's go. So it's definitely helpful for sure.
Okay. And when it comes to you being an artist, right,
Yeah.
and you making music, what has the artist life look like for you?
Yeah. Recently now, you know, I'm going to the studio a lot more. I just like being in that environment. I feel like that environment stimulates creativity. So whether I'm there with our producers like Danny, Kazi, Larry, even PRIIME, and I'm just like kind of taking all in. It could be the one note that could inspire an entire song or album, right? So for me right now is I'm definitely focusing on being more consistent with like making hits. Like people make songs, cool. A song's not always gonna be a hit. So I'm trying to figure out what it is that, and PRIIME's definitely helping me. Jimmy's helping me as well, which is how can we make a song a hit? How can we make something good, great? So I'm definitely still learning, and I feel like in life every day, you know, everybody's learning. You're not ever gonna learn everything in this life, but I'm learning, I'm growing as a person, as an artist, and that's sort of like an everyday, like step-by-step sort of thing, for sure.
Do you ever feel like you get hard on yourself sometimes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I was just telling my parents, I never had a C on my report card, and I'm not saying I had any C's yet, but it wasn't as difficult for me until college. So college, again, COVID hit my freshman year. So second semester COVID year, I was home, and that shit was difficult. Like, getting out of bed, going to my desk, being at my desk for however many hours, going right back to my bed, like that was something I could not do, and I definitely hit some lows. Definitely was, I would say, definitely depressed. Like it was hard, and I wasn't going outside, like I wasn't doing anything like that. But I've always been hard on myself, and sometimes it's a little much, but it's always because I know I can do better. I know I can be great, right? And I strive to be great in everything that I do. Some people look at that as overkill or whatnot, but I feel like if you're not trying to be great or at least understand what it is that you're doing, why are you even doing it? That's kind of my mentality.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the neuroscience guy / artist guy, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel like you're going to be able to do music, or do you have a plan already? Because you know that you're going back to school, which is it okay if I say where it's at?
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like, which is very far from where, the studio is.
Yeah.
How do you feel like you're going to be able to make still being an artist happen?
Yeah. So I think another important thing that people need to understand is, like, before anybody invests in you, you have to invest in yourself. So I spent some bread on kind of like getting my little home studio set up. So I got all my audio interfaces, I got my dual monitors, I got my computer, I got all that sort of stuff. And I'm learning how to use the software like Pro Tools and whatever else it is that I need to use, so that I can do things on my own, send it back, get a review by PRIIME or whatever the producer looks at what it is I'm doing. And then I'm going to learn again to how to do it myself. And I do want to do grad school too, which is, another 6-7 years. I want to get my PhD for sure. But it's going to be difficult. I don't expect it to be easy. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? But I think that the fact that I'm learning, and PRIIME and all the people at the studio that are a part of the Tub Life team, having them, again, in my corner and not worrying about necessarily the distance, but, like, as long as you understand it, you can do it yourself as well. It's a huge plus for me because, again, 6 hours away, I can't drive to the studio and drive back. That's a full day. So definitely learning it is going to help for sure.
Okay. So I want to ask a fun question, right?
All right, bet.
So what has been, when it comes to you being an artist, your favorite moment? Like a moment that you just live all the time because it was just insane.
Oh. I think, so Fridays is, I'd say probably, we had a moment, what was it? I want to say it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where it was myself, PRIIME, Kazi, Thump was there, and Thump's team was there. And we were there till, I want to say, like 3 a.m. from like 6 in the afternoon. And we were all making music. Like, some people on PRIIME's team who might have made music at one time or don't make music all day, they were getting in the studio. We were just having like a good time, right? And it's vibes like that like people hold on to, because I'll hold on to it as well, which is, it almost felt worry-free. Like, I didn't feel like I had anything the next day. Like, I was just living in that moment, right? I was really mindfulness. I practiced that, like, owning that you're in the present. Like, don't worry about it, because I have definitely developed like really bad anxiety and whatnot. But that moment definitely was probably one of the best. I think it was too funny. Too funny.
Got you. And when it comes to you being an artist, who is an artist that you would love to make a song with?
So definitely Tori. Again, Tori, just anyone really. Anybody that's willing to work, that has not even a presence, but just got the vibes right, like, that's authentic to themselves, I would love to work with. Probably male artists, I would love to work with Drake. I know Drake speaks a little bit of patois too and all that. I feel like that would be really cool. And then, like, for a female artist, I would say, like, Jhené Aiko or SZA, Tyla, new South African artist. She's fire. Like, a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people. I could go down a list. I just want to work. I'm just hungry. I just want to work.
Why do you feel like you are that way? When you when I say you are that way, I mean like that you want to work so hard.
Yeah. I want to learn. I want to be able to see everybody's process with how they make music. Like, Thump can freestyle like that. You give him a beat, he's on it. I can't do that. Not saying I'll be able to do that, right? But when you're able to experience different sessions with different people, you get to take away bits and pieces of, like, their process or how they want to do one flow or how they change flows or whatever it is, right? And I feel like everybody can learn from each other. So if I'm able to work with a bunch of different artists, I'm able to pick up, a few things from people that are more seasoned, more veterans in the music industry. And I feel like that's really important for me to develop more as an artist.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like in a position that you are in where you have been doing this for 2 years, you'd be called, like, I guess you'd be like, a youngin' in the industry right now.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, do you feel like it's important to keep your ears, like, open and listening and trying to gain information and learn more and just grow in a industry like this?
Absolutely. And I feel like that's also why it's, like, ever more crucial to have people like PRIIME in my corner. I think that it's definitely good to take in a bunch of information, and then there's also those people that might tell you one thing and move completely differently. I heard that the music industry can get very grimy, and again, going back to the authenticity piece, is that once you find those people are authentic, and again, it's a blessing I found PRIIME because he is authentic. At least I would love to believe, and I feel as if he's authentic, and having something like that, especially in the music industry, is definitely going to put me in a room with the right people.
Exactly.
Right? So I definitely feel like that's important for sure.
Gotcha. So has there ever been a point in your life where, like, neuroscience or being an artist wasn't where the route that you were going, even basketball?
I think for sure there's always those moments where it's like, I don't know, right? I mean, again, during COVID, and a little after, I was taking this one class, organic chemistry. That class is the devil. Like, it was awful. It was hard. Like, I loved my teachers for sure, but trying to build organic chemistry without much of a chem background, because again of like COVID kind of ruined everything. It was difficult for me, and I'm again being hard on myself. I was really upset that I wasn't grasping information, and it made me reconsider, like, yo, is neuro really for me if I'm not understanding what some people would deem to be basic level stuff? So definitely I've questioned if neuroscience was the way I wanted to go, but also because, like, what I'm studying or what I want to study might not be completely covered by a college curriculum that's covering neuroscience, which then makes it difficult for me to determine, like, okay, what classes do I have to take, right? When it comes to basketball, definitely, I mean, I've suffered some injuries. Thank God, no broken bones, nothing like that. But some injuries where it's like, damn, am I going to really be able to bounce back from this, or am I going to be able to develop more as a player now that I've had some sort of like a pause in my training, whatever it is. But again, I kind of just believe that everything is fated. Like, what is for me is going to be for me, and I think music has shown more to be for me than basketball has.
This is a question more for, like, I want to know what you think, right?
Yeah.
What do you think something people should appreciate more in this life?
Yeah. Just being alive, really. A lot of people, like, recently, I know I saw something online about a 17-year-old basketball player that lost his life during practice, and that for me was like, there's no words for it other than, like, it's extremely unfortunate, right? We don't know any people's circumstances. That's why I believe, like, everything you do say, regardless to who it is, has to be out of love, because you don't know what they're going through behind closed doors. And even just a smile or a handshake could drastically change somebody's life. I genuinely believe that way. So I think some people need to be more appreciative of each other and of the fact that, like, they're here. Like, you have to own the fact that you have another day that another person didn't get. You have another opportunity to wake up and seize your day, do the most with your 24 hours that you have, right? So definitely just appreciate the fact that you have opportunities that a lot of other people might not have. So just be grateful, that sort of thing.
All right. And you also mentioned a little while ago that you speak patois.
Yeah.
And Thump has been really trying to learn.
Yeah.
Would you be able to tell the people what it's patois?
What about patois?
Yeah, and what is it, and where does it come from and everything?
Yeah, so patois, a lot of people. So again, I'm Jamaican and Icelandic. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're from Jamaica. Can you speak Jamaican?" Jamaican's not necessarily the language, but it's patois. Patois is known to be what was deemed as broken English or a dialect of Queen's English, and it's a native tongue in Jamaica, and it comes off as an aggressive language. But again, I believe that Jamaicans, just in general, it's all a respect thing. If you come to Jamaica and you're disrespectful, you are not welcome, right? And I don't believe that's too much to ask for. Like, don't go to somewhere and just randomly just disrespect somebody, right? Yeah. But patois is looked at as an aggressive language, but it's just another language, really. Yeah. And
what, like, you mentioned a little while ago that in high school it was really hard for you to fit in.
Yeah.
But, like, what is it like actually to be, like, having two parents from totally different places?
Yeah. It's definitely a conversation starter. There have been times where, I'm with my father, and a lot of people don't make the connection, like, oh, like, that's your son, stop lying, or something like that, right? So it's a blessing, I'd say, though, more than anything, in the sense that I get to see two different perspectives of the world from two totally different places, right? Both are islands, but one's extremely hot, one's a little on the colder side. And I actually wrote my college paper on that, like the difference of, or my experience of being biracial in America versus biracial in Jamaica and Iceland. And it's definitely been different in Iceland and Jamaica than it has been in America. So having those two different perspectives and two completely different backgrounds, I have a lot of things to experience when I travel to those places, but also I have a lot of things where I can start conversation and network with a lot of people. I feel like networking is really important, and I've met a lot of people that don't have similar backgrounds as I do, but again, you can go into some crazy conversations about anything really. So I think it's really cool to have both of those crazy mixes from two different poles. It's really cool.
Okay, well, I gotta say, first off, you're very well spoken, right?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Why do you feel like it is important to be well spoken?
Yeah, I think that when it comes to building your image, when it comes to the way that people are going to look at you and just first impressions, you know, I feel it's different for a lot of people that aren't majority, meaning, you know, black people or any other minorities, right? There's bias, there's stereotypes that you're going to act a certain way, you're going to speak a certain way, you're going to carry yourself with a specific demeanor. All of that is BS, right? Everybody's different. Each individual is going to act the way they want to act, right? I definitely took some public speaking courses in high school, and my mother was also a lawyer, or she was a lawyer. She has her degree and everything like that. And growing up, she was always on me about not saying yeah, say yes, or not okay. Like find different words that are deemed to be, again, more appropriate, more politically correct, or just more professional. And I think, again, when it comes to networking as well, you have to be able to speak because you need to be able to hold a conversation in order to secure a network, right?
Exactly.
So I think being well-spoken is probably one of the most important things people can have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you feel like right now do you stand as an artist?
Yeah. I think I'd say I'm still figuring out who I am as an artist, right? I have some songs that I do want to put out, but I'm still new to understanding the business aspect of things. Like I was talking to PRIIME again, and making music is a small percentage of being an artist, right? There's all these events you have to attend or host. You have to build your image, your reputation, features. Like there's a bunch of other things other than just music that goes into being an artist. So I'm trying to take, again, bits and pieces away, because again, Thump, veteran boy, is on fire right now, right? So being around Thump and being around just, again, the Tub Life team, I'm learning a lot other than just the music piece of being an artist, and I think I'm developing every day the more that I'm around them.
And I think that's insane. I love that you bring that up, because it is way more than just a song.
Yeah.
And just to say, at this moment in time, Liiuhm has not dropped a song right now.
A single song, yeah.
He's got just a whole bunch in the vault,
Yeah.
waiting for it to be released. So, God willing,
Yeah.
you know, when this episode comes out, there will be something for you guys to listen to.
Yeah.
But I got to say, from the things that have been posted and hearing you,
Yeah.
definitely, you have an amazing voice and you're
Appreciate
doing amazing
it.
things.
Thank you.
Of course. And, like, I just find it very, very interesting how, like, more in depth it is than just dropping a song and expecting people to view it. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many more steps and so many things that get into it, and it's an amazing thing that you were able to meet somebody like PRIIME,
Exactly.
who already knows this kind of stuff. Because there's a lot of artists that just, you know, are stuck where they don't really know what the next step is. How do I get into the business aspect?
Yeah.
So it's a great, you know, I love that you bring that up about just, you know, that music and business and how it all intertwines.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you, the crazy thing is like the same way you haven't dropped a song.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't done any performance yet.
Nope.
Haven't done a performance. Haven't dropped a music video.
Nope.
How do all these things feel to you at this time?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is I want to make sure that once you drop a song, there's no coming back. Like, you have to be consistent. You have to apply pressure and keep it pushing to the point where you reach that top 2% of artists where it's like you don't really need to promote your music as much, right? You can post a snippet on Instagram and people are going to go crazy. Oh, when's this dropping? Right? What a lot of people don't understand is there's a lot of money for young artists or hungry artists that they have to budget and push their music. Like, unfortunately, a lot of things don't go anywhere without money, right? So for me, it's still very new, but I'm learning. I'm open to whatever it is that can develop me more as an artist, and we're definitely talking about. We just had a conversation, PRIIME Slips, like, and I yesterday, about a music video for a song we want to drop, and it's all about, you really have to play your cards right. If I were to just drop a song, no promo, it's not going to do anything. So I'm definitely trying to build up that promo. I have some amazing friends at University of Pittsburgh and even here in Jersey that are on my ass, like, you have to drop, like, when are you dropping, right? But for me, it's all about timing. It's making sure that I'm prepared, that when I drop, where's my next follow-up, right?
Exactly.
That sort of thing.
And I think what's going to be cool is the fact that, you know, you're going to be an artist in New Jersey, but you're also going to get networking done in Pittsburgh,
Exactly.
where you may gain a fan base from both areas,
Yeah.
and then slowly in between both, you know what I mean? Like, people in between be able to hear everything.
Yeah.
So, like, what is the most exciting thing for you that you're like, wait, I guess, I want to restate that.
Yeah.
But basically, like, what is the thing that excites you the most about being an artist?
Yeah, I think prior to me being an artist, I listened to a lot of music, right? And I saw how music, for basketball purposes, right, just put me in that zone, like, oh, I'm about to give somebody 40, or, oh, I'm about to bust his ass, like, he can't guard me, right? Put me in that zone where it's like, okay, I'm locked in, right? So music can make you feel a type of way, whether it's basketball or if you're just even walking, listening to some R&B or whatever it is. So I see the power of words and, like, the lyrics and music does to people, right? And then there's a message behind everything. And I want to, in a lot of my music, you don't hear me cursing a lot. You don't hear me degrading anybody or anything like that, because I feel like the message is equally as important, just how hard the beat is or whatever it is. So I think that what most excites me is the fact that I know that other than just neuroscience, I can change somebody's life that way. And through music, I think that's amazing.
And that's something I wanted to touch on. Like,
Yeah.
you're so, well, first, what jobs can you get with a neuroscience major?
Yeah, there's a bunch, I believe. I think most, when it comes to, like, pharmaceutical companies or biotech or other med tech companies, they're looking for people with PhDs now, right? So what my goal is obviously, when I have my degree in neuroscience with a minor in chemistry, I wanted to go to grad school, get a PhD in either, pharmacology, immunology, oncology, something along those lines to, like, expand my horizons, that whatever it is I can do could be more applicable to other jobs. But now a lot of the things I'm hearing about is more IT based, because AI is coming up, projections, everything like that. So being able to understand the science and then give a good projection of where, let's say, like, this disease could be, for example, like the COVID projections and stuff. It's really important to be able to do all of that. So I think that there's jobs, there's a bunch out there. It's more of where you are, locations, I believe, is really important. And then again, it's the way you speak, it's the way that you, what research you've done, that sort of thing. I think all that's really important.
And to go back to what I was going to say, basically, it's just crazy that, you can affect somebody in a different way doing neuroscience than you can in music, but you're affecting someone.
Exactly.
And you may, in neuroscience, you may save someone's life.
Exactly.
Music, you still may save someone's life.
Exactly.
And it's just a beautiful thing to see, like, kind of where you fall in finding loves in two completely different areas.
Yeah.
And are able to still, like, balance the both and still enjoy them the same amount.
Yeah.
But we are getting close to the end.
For sure.
So do you feel like it went by pretty quickly?
It did, low key. It really did.
Okay.
I mean, it was cool conversation. It flows. It doesn't feel forced.
Yeah, good. That's all right. That's cool. All right, that's good. But I'm gonna go ahead and do my ending questions.
Okay, for sure.
The first, one of them I haven't asked in a while, but if there was anything in this world that you would change to make it better, what would it be?
Yeah. That's a difficult question, just because I feel like there's so many issues going on, right? I believe a lot of issues stem from things that happen in people's childhood, and I believe that like, nobody's born evil, nobody's born to hate somebody else, right? So I think that the education system, for sure, I believe needs to be changed, because while teachers always want to sit on that high horse, we want to make you think outside the box. but you're only teaching me specific information. You're not teaching me how to think outside the box. And even when you teach me how to think outside of a box, that's another box in itself, right? So I believe I would probably change, the education system and allow people that are less fortunate to be, quote unquote, more educated so that they can, pass it forward. I'm all about passing it forward. So I think that would be like my biggest change.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now the ending questions.
Yeah.
What is it that wakes you up every morning, maybe even keeps you up at night to do what you're doing?
Yeah. I'm really self-driven and I'm hungry. I know, I have an idea of what life I want to live, what kind of lifestyle I want to have. And I believe that without working hard, it's not going to happen, right? So if I sit back and I'm like, oh, I want to have, $2 million. And I'm sitting back, I'm not doing anything to get that $2 million. It's not just going to fall into my lap.
Mm-hmm.
So waking up, I try to wake up early now. I wake up at 5, 6 in the morning. Mainly it was for work, but I see that when I wake up earlier, it feels like I have a lot more, I'm way more productive. I can get a lot more done in that day. So I think waking up is also to give back to my parents is the foundation you've given me. I want you to know that I'm building on top of that so that I can set my family up. I can help my sister out, or I can help you guys out, or whatever it is, right? I want to be able to be financially free. I want to be able to dictate what I want to do, when I want to do, be able to manage my own time the way I want to do it, right? And that all comes with working hard. So definitely I would say that is more my goal when I wake up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what is a message that you would give to your future self?
My future self, remember where you came from. Remember, stay true to your values and your morals. Oh my Lord, I see a lot of people now in this day and age that change themselves for something, right? And I don't believe necessarily that that's always a good thing. Sometimes it can be. But at the end of the day, I will never change my values, what I value most, or my moral compass. I feel like those are some things that you can't jeopardize because those are you, right? And once you jeopardize that, you're no longer who you are. So I think definitely stay true to who you are, for sure.
Okay. Last but not least,
Yeah.
What do you want the world to know about Liiuhm?
I'm coming. I'm hungry, and I want my music to move you in a way that I was moved by music. I want to influence you in a positive direction. That's what I would say.
All right.
Yeah.
So we are at the end of the podcast.
For sure.
Before I do my outro, this is your opportunity. The camera is now all yours.
Yeah.
If there's anything you want to say at all, whether that's something you got going on, any advice you want to give, anything at all, this is your time.
FTLA dropping soon. I've been baiting it a lot, but we're getting the video done first soon. FTLA is definitely dropping soon. Stay blessed. Keep working for everybody, including myself. Just keep working. Stay blessed. Chase what you want. Don't just be complacent. I hate complacency. Right? Can't be complacent. Chase what you want. And stay tuned in. FTLA dropping soon. A lot of other music coming. I'm excited.
All right.
For
So,
sure.
Liiuhm, first off, I got to say I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I think this was a great conversation.
Absolutely.
I definitely think it was a different conversation because I've never had someone study neuroscience.
Yeah.
And I find that actually interesting, the entire basis of it. I know that I wouldn't be able to do anything like that. So I commend you because I can only imagine the amount of work you got at college.
Yeah.
I could barely withstand being a comm major. So, listen, like I said, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I definitely enjoyed this conversation.
Likewise.
If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know your favorite part. Put on post notifications so you never miss a future episode.
Yeah.
Audio platforms, please leave a review. It allows other people to find my platform. I also like reading your ideas and what you think of this podcast. Just no negativity, please.
Yeah.
Unless you want to, and I'll send it back. But thank you so much for being here. For the people that have been watching my videos all this time, thank you so much. It means the world to me. I couldn't do this without you guys, who are the ones that build up this community. Along with the individuals that I get to sit here like Liiuhm.
Yeah.
Because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do any of this.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
No, listen, I literally couldn't do this without you.
Yeah.
It means the world that people sit down with me and tell their stories and how they're able to do everything they do.
It means the world for artists as well to be able to talk to somebody authentic.
Thank
it's
you.
Rare, bro. Show my boy some love, man. Show my boy some love.
I appreciate it. Like this video up, man. And go check out, if you guys are from YouTube and haven't checked out the Instagram, check out the Instagram or check out the TikTok.
Yeah.
Last but not least, if you are new here welcome to the community pod. And we are out, Liam.
We
Peace.
out.